everyone, Pod here. Upon our Let's Play games, react to stuff. Like some of these things, or plays like gotcha. Well, I got you covered. And today's a wonderful day when the world of reacting, that made no sense. We're gonna be reacting to Nikkes Who Got Cooked the Hardest by Aizen. You can see right here. By Aizen. They just came out recently, and we came out recently a week ago, and we're gonna be checking it out. Before I begin, usually I'll stream live on Twitch, but this was pre-recorded. But if you want to follow me on Twitch and see when I go live, go ahead and follow me there, Trini at twitch.com. With that in mind, we're gonna head over to the left here and check this out. Hopefully the volume is okay, but we'll find out. Pop.
When you look at the world of Nikkei, suffering is practically the foundation.
Okay, so as you saw right there, this does have spoilers. It does have spoilers, so be forewarned. There are spoilers. That he's probably gonna, and this might be up to recent chapter spoilers, so you have been warned. Okay, I have been warned. Also, the nice one.
Women had their humanity stripped away, their bodies replaced with steel and weapons, and then they were thrown into a war they never chose. But even within that already brutal existence, some Nikkes have had it so much worse than others. We're going to be shining a spotlight on Nikkes who suffered the most, the ones whose stories hit differently, whose lore dropped your jaw to the floor or emptied your tissue box. Now, before we get into it, fair warning, some of these picks are hard to argue with, while others are a little more opinionated. We've also...
Yeah, so I will say right now, off the top of my head, they're probably gonna do the main focused ones. I don't know if they're gonna throw Anchor into this and Bellorta and them in this, because there's quite a few. Bellortas and them were kind of meh, but they were bad too. Like there's a lot of them, but Bellorta's got a thing. But I'm pretty sure they're probably gonna go with the mainstay ones, but we'll find out.
Also got a few honorable mentions at the end for characters who just missed the cut. So there.
Okay, so he's gonna do some honorable mentions, and right.
There's that as well. Let's get into it. Starting us off is none other than Dorothy. Everyone saw this one coming.
No, I didn't. Totally not. What do you mean? Dorothy's completely sane. She has no trauma. I have no idea. There is no overzone. There is no overzone in Bossing Say. But yeah, no, yeah, Dorothy would probably be, I would say, like, if there was a tier list, Dorothy would be probably the one with the, would probably be like the Dorothy tier. Like, you kind of have to get to this level of trauma. Yeah.
If you've been on this channel before, you know that I've covered her story multiple times in depth. So,
which we might check out those videos at some point. Which, yeah, I wonder what they're gonna say, because I'm not gonna say about Dorothy, but I'm very looking forward to seeing her in the newest chapters and stuff, because what they're doing with her is flat out amazing.
I'll keep this brief for those who are new. Dorothy is widely considered the best written character we have in the game. She was once part of the Goddess Squad.
Pretty much she is. She's one of the very few that has a very complex thing. I would say, is very up there too. These characters, the reason I put these characters up there, like Yuan and stuff like that, and Rappy a little bit. Well, I love Rappy. No, she's well written. She is really well written. Yeah, I can't even fault her for that. But I put Yuan up there because she's soon, but she's soon for a reason. And that's why I like it a lot. I like it because she's not soon because there's a reason why she's soon. And if you play her Bond story, you understand, like, okay, this is why you act like that. It's not because you're tough and gruff. It's like there's stuff like that. So yeah, like, yes. And I agree with Dorothy. Dorothy's definitely one of those very complex characters. So well written. It's ridiculous.
The Nikkes who held the line while the rest of the world fled underground into the Ark. While she excelled in working alone.
Okay, I know you're doing it, but really, Mog. You're using Mog. No, I just think it's funny you're using Mog. I know why, but I don't know. I think it's like using an arcade machine. It's like, never mind.
She was genuinely kind, inspiring, and above all, deeply proud of what they stood for. And then humanity left them behind. After everything the Goddess Squad sacrificed.
I guess you could say humanity, but let's be real. We know exactly who actually left them in the dust. It wasn't exactly humanity, but it could be considered humanity. But yeah.
Sacrificed years of holding the surface, watching their numbers dwindle, watching their friends slowly die off. The central government decided that they were a threat.
See, that's what I'm saying too. Like, it wasn't really humanity, because here's the thing, it's just because of the story. You have to watch the story come out where it was technically humanity, but kind of is. It's weird. It's weird.
Dorothy expected a celebration for their return. Nope. Okay, then at the very least, a rescue mission, right? Nope. Radio silence. The Nikkes who saved humanity were discarded like broken tools. That betrayal and the death of close friends caused Dorothy to hollow out. The warm second in command she used to be is essentially gone. What was left was someone guarded and willing to cross lines the old Dorothy would have never entertained. The current Dorothy has gone through numerous additional trials, including letting go of her delusions on a cruise ship in the middle of the ocean, losing guild members to the Queen again, getting kicked out of said guild, being rage baited by a man-child, and finally being confronted with Oswald, the one who was forced to abandon the Goddess Squad. There's no shortage of suffering with Dorothy's lore. Next up is
Okay, so we're going with that one. So they didn't touch on the thing. With Dorothy's thing, I do appreciate what they're going with her, with stuff like that. I don't see her suffering, unfortunately, ending anytime soon, because if you actually read the dev notes and dev reviews, they're kind of sick what they said about Dorothy. They say, oh, we like it when we make Dorothy suffer. Wow. So yeah, I don't think her suffering's gonna get a break anytime soon. For context, I do watch some other stuff like that. I don't know if this is a comparison, but keep in mind, it's the HISR writer. I think that's their thing. Like, they do the same thing with a character they really like. In a sense, they make them suffer. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong about that. But I think, if I remember correctly, that we're talking about this. The person who does the HSR lore, if they have a favorite person, they usually get in a lot of suffering. But yeah. Neon!
Before Chapter 43, most players probably knew her as the loud, firepower-obsessed goofball of the main cast.
So, a little minutes with Neon, and I will say this right now, I was a little suspicious of her a little bit through, just because of like the switch ups and the things. Like, I thought she was putting up a front. I didn't think of a memory thing was actually the way they were going for. I was a little suspicious of her, just because I thought there was more to her. Because keep in mind, she is a spy. Alright, well, I guess now she still is. I don't know. Is she still technically a spy? Huh. I don't know.
She's energetic and a little obnoxious in a good way.
Yeah, so glad that technically, like, I'm glad they developed her character, because for a little bit people consider that she was kind of like the also factory annoying one of the group, but I'm glad they fixed that.
Longest time, the community believed that she was hiding a great deal of lore due to her red glasses.
Yeah, which we found out was deep.
And, well, we weren't wrong. Chapter 43 was a gold.
I hate myself for this. That was Neon on the side. Okay, so I was looking at his thumbnail and I'm like, what? Who's that Nikkei on the side? It's okay. I hear it here.
When Neon's sealed memories are forcibly unlocked, we're taken back to her life before she was ever a Nikkei.
So I'm wondering, who sealed the memories? Was it her? or was it somewhere else? And also, here's the thing: if her seal memories are unlocked, does she remember the Indivilia fight? That is something I have been wondering, because I don't know, because she was like, oh, I don't remember the Indivilia fight. I have a feeling she does, but now more so than ever, for all her memories have been unlocked, but we'll see.
To a girl called Stall 3.
Mm-hmm.
That name alone tells you everything about how the world valued her. A kid born in a bathroom stall in the Outer Rim and abandoned there. She was simply the third child found in that spot. That's how she got her name. She grew up in one of the darkest, most dangerous corners of the setting, the Outer Rim's red light district. A slum packed with people scraping by, run through with and crime, a place devoid of hope and reason. Stall 3 was one of the janitors of this place. That's all she would ever do. Clean. A chronically ill, frail child with a body that could barely hold up. Talk about a shitty spawning point. The girl
just spawn at the wrong place, man. Wrong spawn, wrong spawn.
We know as the energetic powerhouse of counters, spent her human life physically wasting away. The contrast between the healthy, powerful Nikke and the fragile, sickly child she once was is pretty insane.
Yeah,
of course,
it is.
The suffering doesn't stop at poverty and illness. The people Stall 3 did manage to connect with all died. The closest of these was Princess, who ultimately sacrificed herself so that Neon could have a future, passing on the key before her death. It's because of Princess that Neon was even brought into Elysion and converted at all. The real gut punch was how Neon wasn't even able to keep those memories. They were sealed away when she woke up. When I say we expected a lot of Neon lore, this was not what came into mind. She earned every bit of screaming firepower at the top of her lungs. She just had to lose everything first.
Yeah, she did. Ah, the memories. Ah, sweet, sweet memories. I kind of like, okay, I kind of like this. I kind of like they're doing like a little thumbnail thing. That's kind of cool.
Known for a while that Anise had issues, but what we didn't
oh no, you mean Anise, our lovely girl who totally off the bat ripped us apart a new one? She's totally a nice girl.
Realize was how long it would take to finally address all of them. Along with Neon, they were the comic relief duo.
Yeah, they were.
Making their presence known
the cats.
In most scenes. Recently, similar to Neon, we got her full backstory. And we realized that loudmouth personality was an armor she built over decades of cruelty. In her human years, Anise grew up as an orphan, shuffling between housing facilities.
That doll is creepy.
A charity program gave her a roof and an education. She had nothing, and at school her classmates made sure she felt it. She was bullied especially by one student. The class president bullied enough to send her to the school rooftop to end it all. What pulled her back from the edge was Pretty and her classmate Riss. Riss even gave her a ticket to Pretty.
Why do you have to use that model, man? Ah, I hate it.
Comeback concert, making it one of the most happy moments of her life. Sadly, Anise was killed at that very concert. When she woke up, she was already a Nikke. With the help of Hansen and Tetra, Anise became an idol herself alongside two others. Even Riss came back to fulfill her promise as Anise's manager. For a while, it was a dream worth chasing, but the leader of Tetra had a very different plan in mind.
Yeah, he did!
The industry was oversaturated with pretty imitators, and TT Star couldn't get real traction no matter what they did. And so commenced Smile Time. What was labeled as fan engagement turned into psychological abuse. During one event, an enraged Riss physically fought fans who enacted Smile Time, resulting in the suspension of TT Star. Banned from Tetra and despairing that she had rendered TT Star's suffering for nothing, Riss took her own life. I've already talked about this plenty, so I'll just say the humiliation and the
I thought it was debated about that. I thought, okay, I could be misremembering. I thought Princess had a hand. I thought the school bully had a hand in it, but I could be wrong.
Loss from Smile Time never fully left Anise. After that, she was done. She stopped chasing Pretty's legacy and transferred to surface warfare. We find out that going to the most dangerous place in the world had nothing to do with ambition. It was a decision of someone who stopped caring what happened to them. The fact that she eventually found something worth fighting for again makes her arc one of the most earned in the entire game.
Yeah, which, by the way, I don't understand this. I saw some people like, oh, Anise was kind of like, some people were just like, it wasn't as palatable and Neon to Rappies. I'm sitting there looking at like, excuse me? You want to run me by that again? Huh? That makes no bloody sense, mate. Like, hello? Like, all these had very tragic ones.
Rappy.
Wife. That's why I said I took it back. There are people who do not like the new Rappy. I disagree heavy with these people. And I don't think her journey's done. Like, I don't think her journey's done. Anise and Neon's, I think, are complete. Rappy's, on the other hand, no. There's another layer they have to go through. Rappy's thing, I don't think her arc is complete. Because, we'll see. I'll explain more later.
Start. On the surface, she's the most composed professional member of Counters. But underneath it, we got almost 80 years of devastation to unpack. It starts at her beginning. Rappy was born as a sickly, bedridden child. For many years, she didn't live a life. She received treatment, but the disease had no cure. Knowing she would likely die in the hospital anyway, she had no hope or ambition. She constantly wondered if dying would mean her suffering would grant her a peace that living wouldn't. The failure of the First Reclamation War also did not help. The immense investment into Nikke technology caused a crisis in the Ark. So along with unrest, facilities like the hospital were running out of resources.
Yeah, because they invested all those stuff in Nikke, which caused the whole Nikke hatred. And yeah, poor Nikkes, I swear to God.
Rappy's friend and only friend at the time was her nurse, a kind, very pro-Nikke lady who believed Rappy would make it out eventually. One day, while watching the news, Rappy saw a report of a massacre that took place at a pro-Nikke protest. She never saw her nurse again. Years passed. So I'm wondering if the nurse became a Nikke. I mean, she didn't go see Rappy again, so she probably got her mind wiped, but I wonder if she ever became a Nikke. But I'm just curious. I'd be curious about that. Fast after the incident, and sure enough, the hospital faced closure. Rappy stepped up, thinking her life was meaningless anyway, and became a test subject. Her body used for medical experiments just to keep the place funded. I hated this one. I hated when this happened to her. She was the reason the hospital stayed open. Her suffering was literally the business model. And when she was cured from her disease and no longer useful, they kicked her out. She too believed she served her purpose and died not long after. Converted into a Nikke. The cruelty of it is that becoming a weapon was actually an upgrade from the life she'd been living. Yeah, it was. Her squad was wiped out and she was the only survivor. And rather than be recognized for enduring the impossible, pretty much surviving a week on the surface alone, fighting off raptures 12 times with no backup, she was accused of murdering her own squad mates. Because the alternative, that she was just that capable while everyone around her kept dying, was somehow harder to accept. It kept happening. Squad after squad, mission after mission. Rio became corrupted, and Wendy had to kill her before committing suicide herself. Her reputation for coming back alive from complete squad wipes earned. Also, she's not flat. Red Hood, shush. Sorry, just gotta get out there. Red Hood called her flat. I hate it when she called her flat. She's not flat. Shut up, Red Hood. Her the nickname Grim Reaper.
Don't fear the it would be cool if we actually got a skin of Grim Reaper Rappy, like a skin referencing that.
Letting people in. What else are you supposed to do when proximity to you becomes a death sentence? The one bright spot was the encounter with Red Hood, a corrupted, dying legend who chose to spend her remaining time mentoring an empty, drifting Nikke nobody else wanted. Red Hood gave Rappy purpose and a sense of identity for the first time. But of course, Red Hood too eventually had to die. Rappy, who just lost her only light, sat in shock, not just for days, but for years.
Why? Why are you doing the crying? I hate you. Stop it.
After waking up and finding Red Hood gone completely, Rappy returns to Elysion to get an upgrade. Her story obviously doesn't end there, but, you know, just to keep this short, I included only the parts she suffered the most.
I was kind of curious. We don't see Rappy's model anymore. I wonder why. I don't think we see Rappy's like mass-produced model anymore, which is interesting.
Anne, or N102.
Okay, this one sucks. Yep, this one sucks. Okay, buckle up. This one, this is gonna suck.
Is one of the more subtle entries on this list. She wakes
Subtle is a word. Yeah, subtle is a word.
Up every single day with no memory of the day before. Her entire sense of self, her personality, her relationships, what she likes, who she
Is that a censor? Is that a censor? You're just censoring? Okay, I see what you're doing. That's a censor.
She trusts is determined entirely by what researchers have written in her notebook. She takes those entries as her own thoughts and memories, making it her identity. And every night, it's erased.
I hate you using that chibi. That devoid of, yeah.
That alone is a pretty devastating way to go. But it gets worse. The scientist overlooking her experiments rewrites her diary each morning, deliberately changing her likes and day plans with each memory wipe. And this is to see how words alone can shape Nikke memory. Anne is not a person to these guys. And then there's her mother, who's still alive out there. Anne's condition is actively exploited by researchers to extort money from her. The woman's daughter is
okay, so that's why you're using it as a censor. Okay.
In a loop of daily erasure, and people are profiting from it. These scumbags are using a mother's grief as leverage. What makes it all hit harder are the small moments of bleed through, the inexplicable sense of emptiness she feels without understanding why. Some part of her knows something is wrong.
I hated this scene.
She just can never hold on to it long enough to understand what. She's a girl who has never truly gotten to exist.
I hated that one. I hated that one. Just want to see Mama. I'm so glad I played that event.
Siren, or Little Mermaid, is a heartbreak herself. She was
yes, it was. Gosh, it just sucks because you can't. Siren had a tough, but if you know, you know. It's event.
Was part of Old Tales,
an
experimental squad built around Cinderella and designed around close bonds. They were just as much as a family as the goddesses, this time with Abe as the motherly figure, if you will. Then, one day out of nowhere, Cinderella gets corrupted and turns into
out of nowhere, by the way.
Bomb. She tore open her own family and, in the process, smashed Siren's jaw clean off her face to render her Kododama powers useless. Abe's emergency repairs barely managed to reattach it, but the damage was so severe that speaking at all risked killing her. The one Nikke on the team whose ability is literally her voice, silenced by her captain.
I thought it was... That was fixed eventually. I think it was. But I thought that emergency repairs, just the jaw could barely keep on. It wasn't like necessarily defeating her. I could be misremembering that. But I thought it was that. And I thought at the beginning she couldn't say anything much because she risked activating her Kododama.
The shattered jaw certainly sucks, not to downplay it, but that was pretty much the least of her problems. In the
gluttony.
chaos that followed, Siren was separated from her squad entirely. During the final fight against the Queen with her
I love your little censor there. I'm sorry.
squad, she was blasted from the space elevator, falling miles below into the ocean. She ended on the surface alone, having survived by using one of her bubbles as cushion, and spent a great deal of time searching the surface for her missing friends. She didn't find them. She does end up meeting and mentoring a young corrupted Nikke that still had her wits, but after a giant monster attacks them, Siren is swallowed whole. This is where it really gets uneasy. She spends the next 7 decades in this monster's stomach, making an ecosphere of bubbles to keep her company while doing everything she can to keep gluttony from devouring her. We also later on learn that she spent that time sending countless bubbles into space to form a veil over the Queen, which ends up becoming one of the greatest and influential plays.
Yeah, pretty much Siren the MVP. She probably will never get it, but she deserves at least one free costume skin. I'm gonna say this. If it wasn't for Siren, we would, like... But the problem is, I can't see her winning, like, the favorite contest anytime soon. Because next year, it's gonna be, like, Anise and Neon. And after that, she's gonna keep getting buried more and more in the past. Like, the only time she was maybe going to win was this year with Siren. But again, Cindy won, so yeah.
Despite being isolated for a lifetime,
really, the arcade game?
She somehow managed to keep her cool and perform miracles. Some theories even suggesting that she used her kotodama on herself to maintain mental stability. Anyhow, she'd been alone.
Okay, so you don't censor that? Okay, buddy.
For so long that when 3 Nikkes crashed into her garden, she was simultaneously terrified for their lives and ecstatic. Finally, someone else was there. Thankfully, from then onwards, the suffering is slowly lifted from her life, and she is eventually reunited with Cinderella and Grave.
Aww.
Cinderella.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're probably gonna go with Cinderella next.
You could have seen this one coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
The tragedy operates on 3 different levels of suffering. The physical, the psychological, and the breaking of the spirit. Arguably, because of the amount of lives that were lost due to her suffering, Cinderella has had it the worst. Start with the corruption itself. Red Shoes deliberately chose Cinderella as her test subject. Specifically, she was Abe's masterpiece, the most powerful Nikke in the squad, and implanted the corruption code during Cinderella's final maintenance.
I wonder, I'm still debating. People say it was in the tea. I wonder if it was during the maintenance or during the set tea. Like, was the corruption code in the tea or was it in the thing? I don't think that was actually really clarified, honestly, which one it was, but yeah, it's just food for thought because I'm not sure exactly why that would be, what it would be, but anyway.
This was right before Old Tails finally had the chance to make a difference in battle after numerous brutal rejections. The result was that Cinderella became Heretic and Akiro, trapped inside her own.
Did you mean Ichiro? Hang on, did you say Akira or...
Specifically, she was Abe's masterpiece,
the
most powerful Nikke in the squad, and implanted the corruption code during Cinderella's final maintenance. This was right before Old Tails finally had the chance to make a difference in battle after numerous brutal rejections. The result was that Cinderella became Heretic and Akiro, trapped...
Yep, okay. It's Anichiro. Not Anikiro, Anichiro. Chiro, like Cheerios. I was like, wait a minute. Akiro! Leave me alone! Akiro! Sorry. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute.
Inside her own body, fully conscious, watching herself massacre the people she loved without being able to stop any of it. She was watching herself the entire way, screaming and wailing while her hands destroyed everything she stood for. The corruption went after her mind too. Old Tails shows the corruption working through gaslighting and psychological breakdown, systematically dismantling a Nikke's of self in order to make them surrender their identity entirely to the Rapture Queen. Cinderella had to fight that on top of everything else.
Yep.
When she finally clawed back enough consciousness to assert herself, the corruption threatened her directly, promising to force Anakiro to murder all of Old Tales if Cinderella didn't accept her fate as a pawn. Her response was to agree, but on her own terms. She would fight the Goddess Squad because she believed they were the one force capable of stopping her. It was a calculated suicide attempt disguised as compliance. Again, there's the betrayal underneath all of it. After learning the truth, Cinderella broke completely and shot Red Shoes straight through her core without much hesitation.
Yep.
The problem was that this encounter occurred separately from the rest of Old Tales, so when they found out, they believed the heretic had returned. No matter how hard she pled, the others refused to believe her story. This was the second betrayal, and this time she was done.
私が弱くてごめんなさい。殺してしまってごめんなさい。生きていてごめんなさい。
Sorry. Totally fake, by the way. She flew away and hid for days,
The arcade game.
nights, weeping until at her lowest point, she turned her own weapon on herself. Abe found her just in time.
Yeah, so that's not saying that it's kind of a misnomer.
After the rest of Old Tales started to trust Cinderella, they're told that any cooperation with the heretic Anakiro is considered treason. With no home to return to, Old Tales decides to take the fight directly to the Queen. A sort of Hail Mary mission. The phrase rewriting the story meant that their story would end, that the gargantuan failure of Old Tales and the symbol of despair Cinderella became would be rewritten in victory. Cinderella would be the only one to make it to the Queen's lair. Off topic, but I'm sure by now you're starting to see why this character dominated the polls. And then after...
Ha 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 ha! She still lost the rappy. But no, just kidding. Okay, I'm sorry. No. Okay, in all seriousness, little compromise in that. She dominated the polls. Yes, on that, but also too, it was very accepted by the people who loved Rappy that we basically said, hey, Rappy won, we're gonna let you win next. So that was a huge thing. I think that also helped hugely a lot, because honestly, if that didn't help boost her, that we might have been seeing some closer results, because keep in mind, that's what a lot of people who said Rappy said, hey, if Rappy wins, we're gonna help Cindy win. That was the thing.
All of that, she woke up to a world that moved on without her. Abe was practically gone. Her memories of Old Tales basically wiped by the central government that had buried the whole story as an embarrassment. Her squad was scattered. Siren was missing. The twins are rumored to be defectors. The surface was still lost.
Okay, so that's a little, okay, so a little correction there. A little bit. Technically, it is correct what they were saying. However, I'll let it go. There's a little bit of mixed up of the rumor and stuff, but yeah.
Decades had passed, and the finish line was
I think he got it mixed up a little bit, but I'm gonna be wrong.
Here in sight. Cinderella's arc of suffering isn't a single moment because she's endured nearly every form of suffering imaginable. Betrayal, possession, guilt, experimentation, self-loathing, erasure, and still woke up to a world at war. I fucking love this character, guys. Can't talk about...
I love her too. And I'm not a Cindy hater at all. She is on the, but she's not. Here's the thing: she's not really waifu for me. Weirdly enough, like I like her a lot, and she is definitely wife material. But she's not wife for me for some reason, and I don't know why. I don't know.
Cinderella.
I love her either way. I do love her either way, but I love Rappy more.
Talking about Grave, or Abe, as she was once known. We already covered a lot of Old Tales, so
I feel like you should clarify that before I get the Grave here. I don't hate Cinderella. I think she's a really winning character and stuff like that. I just don't know if she's my preference. And that's the thing. Like, no, her story freaking sucked. And I think I wept for it too. I definitely did, but yeah.
Well, I'll keep this focused. Abe built Old Tales. Every member of that squad was her responsibility. And
So I'm wondering with Abe if they're gonna bring her memories back, because there is something that is gonna bring her memories back, but that would be spoiling stuff. But there is a way to get her memories back.
In the way that only a creator can feel, like a family. Red Shoes was a former VTC colleague, someone Abe had worked alongside closely. The betrayal was personal. Someone she trusted dismantled everything she'd spent her life building and used her greatest achievement as the weapon to do it. Watching Cinderella, her magnum opus, the most technologically advanced Nikke at the time, become the face of humanity's defeat in the first Reclamation War is a special kind of cruelty.
Okay, that's been bugging me. Did they call it the first Reclamation War, or is the first? I thought the first Reclamation. I thought the Reclamation ones were from the Ark, like they come from the Ark. Or am I wrong about that? I could be wrong. Well, we'll see.
Imagine your.
Because I thought there was the first. Maybe it was. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I'll shut up, because that does make a lot of sense if that's what it's classified as. I don't know. I just, in my brain, I always classified it as every reclamation type of thing was happening when they sent people from the Ark.
Life's work becoming a symbol of catastrophe for the people you're trying to protect. Brutal. For 5 years after the final fight against the Queen, Abe wandered the surface looking for Cinderella. After discovery, she spent the next century alone, guarding Cinderella's coffin. One day, she's captured by the Ark, and they begin experiments on her, eventually casting her aside, seeing there was nothing to extract. The months of experimentation resulted in her body and mind becoming deformed. Slowly losing her memories, slowly losing herself. She wanted to find the others, but the weight of what she was carrying made that impossible. For a woman who had built a family from scratch, spending 100 years unable to reach any of them is a torment that no other character on this list has felt.
So I'm wondering where Abe and not Abe, sorry, Hansel and Gretel's going into this. Like, I got a feeling like if they were they're probably gonna remake this video with Hansel and Gretel coming in, because there's no way Hansel and Gretel's not gonna have a have a horror, like a gut wrenching story, because there's a reason she kept them off the books. But we'll see.
We've talked a lot about suffering in this video.
Is this the honorable mentions?
Cruelty reserved for our goddess of victory, Lilyweiss. Lilyweiss was
okay. I was gonna say, you're not gonna have a Lilyweiss, yeah.
The leader of the goddess squad and the most powerful Nikke to ever exist. That title comes with a weight that most can't even imagine. Every decision, every outcome goes to the captain. By the time of Operation Ark Guardian, Lilyweiss was already pushing past her operational limits. Her body degrading under the sheer output of her own power. But she continued fighting anyway. She made sure Anderson got into the Ark. She watched the squad finish the fight, and then she died, leaning against a wall, telling herself how proud she was of them. She was laid to rest in a white stone coffin near the goddess outpost. Her squad mates visited her regularly, especially Dorothy.
I'm wondering if we're ever gonna get the scene of the burial, because we never really got it. We got like okay, we never had the actual burial of the thing. I'm wondering if we're ever gonna get that, but yeah.
Supposed to be the end. Well, it wasn't. The Rapture Queen had Lilyweiss's head taken from her corpse to use as a power source. Her brain.
I wonder if it was the Queen or someone else. No, I thought it was the Queen. It was the Queen. No, wait. I wonder if it was the Queen. Based on the new information we have, I wonder if it was actually the Queen.
Repurposed as fuel for humanity's greatest enemy. And then, much later, the Queen claimed the rest of her body entirely. The controlled Lilyweiss proceeded to destroy Rapunzel, pummel Scarlet, and behead Snow White, all while wearing that serene smile. The woman who gave everything for humanity became the face of destroying it. There's no word for such a horrible fate.
Yep. It is what it is with her. Yeah, there's nothing really to talk about her. It's just, yeah.
Our final Nikke.
Of course!
Marion cannot catch a break.
No, she cannot. This girl cannot catch a bloody break. Holy Benji. This poor woman cannot catch a break. Holy.
By the commander she loved, resurrected by the raptures as Modernia, saved again, and then re-corrupted by Chatterbox's dying spite, forcing a complete neural wipe that left her a blank slate, crying and begging to stay with the people she knew as they sent her away for her own protection. Any one of those things would be enough for most characters. Marion got all of them in sequence. That's just the beginning. The queen powers that now reside in her body should theoretically make her one of the most powerful beings in the setting. Instead, the Rapture Queen tossed her around like salad and made a mockery of her powers. She's by far the weakest queen out of the three, and she ends up paying for that gap in blood. Speaking of salad, she's currently a vegetable resting inside Eden. She's safe for now, but the residue of queen powers likely mean that peace is far from attainable. Marion never chose any of this, and we know the worst is yet to come.
Yeah, so what Marion, she went through it all, man. But I'm wondering, like, if she's gonna get a memory resurgence. Like, I am so curious about what is going to happen, because I wonder with Marion if we're going to get a thing to show how Nikkes turn into heretics, like it's the process. I wonder if we're gonna get an event and it's gonna be centered around Marion.
Before we finish off, I got a few characters in the honorable mentions.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right now. If you do not remember mention, like, not even Anchor, I think it was Me or something, because I did hear about Bond story. We haven't done it yet, but it's one of the Bond stories. I think it is Me. If you don't mention Me, that's weird.
To either make you angry that they weren't in the main list or happy that they're even here. Snow White is probably the most controversial omission, and
yeah, that is kind of weird. And Scarlet, like, Scarlet, I'm kind of weirded out you didn't put her in. Yeah, because, well, then again, they're not, but the ones you describe here, they didn't have it. Yeah,
I get it. Maybe this is a deliberate rage bait to get the comments riled up. Who knows? She's survived at least 2 mind switches, watched her 2 favorite people in the world die, and felt just as betrayed as Dorothy in Overzone. The reason she's not in the main list is because of the nature of the mind switch itself. It allowed her to suffer.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
As much pain as the others.
That's fair. Yeah, practically, and that's what Scarlet too. Their mind switches weren't detrimental to them. Yes, they helped them survive. Yes, they were bad, but they were like after the mind switches, things kind of started getting better for them. Whereas the other Nikkes on this list, well, no, yeah.
But otherwise, there's a reason I put her here. She's been through quite a bit. Red Hood is similar. She suffered a slow...
Yeah, I wouldn't even throw Red Hood in there. Red Hood, nah. Red Hood, because the thing with Red Hood, it'd be like, yeah, she's trying to... But at this point, Red Hood, like, she took it with style. Like, she was not suffering any part of the way.
An inevitable physical and mental degradation, eventually choosing to exile herself from the Goddess Squad rather than becoming a danger to the people she loved. She's an...
Yeah, she had a thing, but then at the end it was just kind of like, I'm rolling with it. She's rolling with the punches.
Honorable mention mostly because her story, painful as it is, ultimately resolves with meaning and closure through Rappy. Scarlet had to kill her own sister, has gone through mind switches, and was betrayed by the Ark as well. Currently, she's barely alive, completely out of commission, which is why she deserves to be mentioned. Our last one, EH.
I didn't think you were gonna put EH. I forgot. Yeah, EH. I would have probably put it on here because EH, I'm gonna be flat out honest. She can compete. Yeah.
She built heavenly ascension out of compassion for the people of the Outer Rim, and then had to watch Crow destroy everything she'd worked for with her terrorist attacks. Great, which killed hundreds of civilians. She converted into a Nikke out of guilt to atone for an atrocity she couldn't prevent.
That's true. Like with hers, it's more of atonement. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. Most characters have a sad story attached, but these are the ones that feel like they hurt the most. Hopefully you learned something
Why
new,
you
and I'll catch you on the next one.
I think that was a subtle message about, I think something in the YouTube related. But yeah, that was a very, very good one. I did like that one a lot. I agree with the Mustangs. I don't know about the reclamation thing. I could be wrong with the reclamation thing, about the whole reclamation thing on the side. I could be wrong about that one, but maybe I could be completely wrong. I thought the reclamation thing was like a I thought it was like a I thought it was like when they got deployed from the Ark and stuff. I guess I'm wrong about that in every sense of the word. But yeah, that was fantastic. I like that video. I always want to watch Eisen's videos. I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video, but if you like this video, you want to see it yourself, the link will be put in the description below. The video will there will also be a link to the channel in the title of this video. You click the link, click their name in the blue lettering on the @ it will take you straight to their channel, so you can check it out. What in the Benji am I looking at the right here? What? Okay, I'm just gonna go over here real quick. Okay, yeah, okay. Let me go here real quick. We got the diesel. Thank you. Hey, perfect. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna put it right here on Marion because I have no idea what the Benji was that. But anyway, hope you all enjoyed. I know I did. Like you saw, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Stream live, not stream on live Twitch, but if you like to see when I go live and stuff like that, more. Leave a comment in the description below. If you, leave a comment if you have anything to just react to. I am going to be expanding my reactions to other genres and react to more stuff because I do enjoy the reacted stuff, and you seem all enjoy it too. With that in mind, I'll see y'all next time. Peace. Pun.